All right, Bertie, it is episode 112. How did we get here so quickly after episode 111?
That's it exactly. And it's a throwback episode.
Throwbacks.
Christmas is over. It's all done and dusted. Everybody's belly is full of turkey.
Oh, man, I'm stuffed.
And we are going back over some of our interviews from 2024 or 2023. Oh, my God.
Nice.
Before 2024. So we have episode 62 on the cards today. Owen Improvements, where Owen was in talking about house improvements.
He'll be back on at some stage soon, actually, as well.
An update on the house improvements. Excellent.
Yeah.
Episode 76, the probing tent with Sinead. all about Bective Mill.
What a name!
Oh, I love that episode.
That was brilliant.
Absolutely classic.
Yeah,
so
that's
if
fast.
anybody hasn't listened to these, you get a little bit of a taster coming up in this episode.
Probing tent.
Episode 80, if you want to go back, a Pucker Ride, where we talked to Rob Matthews about cycling.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The cycle work scheme. Episode 81, X-Men Origins, where Scotty spelled Origins wrong. And Benny was in telling us all about throwing axes and all the crack he has with that. He should be back in telling us about his zoo job, which is also very interesting.
Yeah.
And last then on the list is episode 101, where Paul was in telling us about his cycle. I would cycle 500 miles around Scotland.
That was a great one too.
Excellent episodes. So we have some snippets from all those episodes on today's episodes, which is 112. Do you fancy calling a name?
God, I don't know now that you put me on the spot.
Oh my God. My turkey. Oh my God, I said it wrong. My belly is full of turkey.
Oh, yeah, I know, I like it. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, so it is episode 112.
My belly's full of turkey.
Love it.
Nice.
Yeah, waffle me this, waffle me that. Picking up the topics that you all could have had. The only game that makes me feel so alive. I'm guessing for 30, it could be only 5. Getting them all would be a superpower. You could get it every week on the JV Waffle Hour. JV Waffle Hour.
I love that song.
JV Waffle Hour.
Hello, everybody.
JV Waffle Hour.
How was your weekend?
JV Waffle Hour.
Hello, everybody.
JV Waffle Hour.
I love that song.
How was your weekend?
Hello, everybody.
I love that song.
Hello, everybody.
I love that song.
Hello, everybody.
I love that song.
How was your weekend? So today's topic obviously was influenced by our guest.
Oh, it wasn't parachuting, no?
It wasn't parachuting. yeah.
Damn it.
Or Jaguars.
Cats.
Is DIY. Something that I think we've talked about before. We've done
we
a
done a
few
episode. Yeah.
of them.
Episode number was about DIY.
It's something that for me gets more. You've been doing DIY on since you were young. You've been doing it yourself since you were young.
Don't tell us all the details.
Oh dear.
My mother's listening to this.
Sorry. But you've been interested in like making stuff and like building bits and bobs.
Yeah, but I haven't actually done any DIY until we bought a house.
Right.
Did you buy an old house?
Yeah, it's like 100 and something years old.
Nice.
Deadly.
Like a cottage?
Yeah, it's an old stone kind of cottage out in
It's Bertie's dream. Bertie wants one.
Don't give addresses out in the podcast.
Yeah.
Just say it's somewhere in Ireland.
Yeah, it's in an
Otherwise the
undisclosed
paparazzi will
location.
find you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a necessity because it was a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
And we didn't really have any money to pay someone to do it, so I figured I'll just do it.
Yeah.
How much
Brilliant.
of a fixer-upper? Like, could you live in it at the start, or were you like in a caravan?
Yeah, no, we could live in it straight away.
Oh.
That was a prerequisite for buying somewhere because we were renting and we didn't have anywhere else to go, so we needed somewhere that was ready to go into. There was
Yeah.
a few houses that we saw that were nice, but they weren't ready to move into. So that was...
And did you always want a fixer-upper? Like, did you look at ones that were, or was it a budget thing?
Yeah, well, I think when you buy a house, you're going to fix up stuff anyway. You're going to change things. You're not going to move in and leave it exactly as it is. So you're always going to do something. But in this case, we had to do a lot of demolition and stuff. It was quite fun, like...
And so, what was the first thing when you moved into the house? What was the first bit of DIY that you had to do?
Bathroom.
Right.
Well, like, small stuff, but bathroom was the first major thing. There was no shower. Like, it was... I don't know who was in our house before us, but I think they were a bit odd or something.
Smelly.
Yeah, definitely smelly, yeah. There's no shower, really.
Just a bath, was it?
Yeah, it was a bath and then, like, a shower head, but, like, the water pressure was just, like,
Or was it connected to the tap, like?
a dribble. Yeah. So I don't know how they washed themselves or if they did.
Bucket.
Possibly, yeah. So, yeah, that was the first thing. Bathroom, shower.
And that water pressure thing. How did you fit a new pump?
Well, there wasn't a pump there to begin with. There's a tank in your attic
Yeah,
that
yeah.
feeds the water
So it's
down.
gravity
It's
fed.
just gravity.
Yeah, and the tank was just above here. Like it wasn't in the second story.
Yeah.
It was in the first story. So
All right.
yeah, we just put a pump in.
Yeah.
So
And did you put in the pump yourself?
No, I've done all the work in the house myself except some of the early plumbing stuff.
Yeah.
But what I did was when the plumber came, I said to him, "Look, I don't know anything about plumbing. Can I help you?"
Deadly.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
So me and him kind of did it together. He showed me this is what you do for this and this and this.
Yeah.
So now I can kind of do plumbing stuff.
I'd probably risk. I'd do it yourself plumbing on the bottom floor, but I wouldn't chance it on the second floor because it's more forgiving. If you have a leak on the bottom floor, yeah, grand, your tiles get wet or something. But if you have a slow leak in your bathroom upstairs from something you didn't do properly, it could be 2 years before you even notice a big stain on your.
Possibly, yeah. But
I'd be
plumbing-
paranoid.
Have you done any plumbing?
Yeah, like we've done the same scenario. We bought not an old house, but a house that was fairly. The guy who lived there before us was obviously a DIY guy, but a really bad DIY guy. So
Right, yeah.
we had to rip out everything that he did.
That sounds familiar.
So we put in like our new kitchen, did all the sinks, the bathroom sinks, all that kind of stuff, but on the ground floor. And but I wouldn't touch upstairs now.
But you did plumbing, like
Plumbing, yeah, like got pipes, went to a hardware, got pipes to the U-bends, all that jazz. Yeah. Didn't bend the copper pipe thing, I didn't have the tools.
yeah. But did you do like drainage plumbing from a sink, say, or did you put in new water lines? Like
No, just existing area, like the sink. Well, I moved the sink maybe 3 foot to the left, but same drainage lines, same water lines, everything like that.
and you didn't extend the water lines. Is what I'm asking.
No, I could because they were these flexi pipe
They'd
things, so I
reach.
could just drag them across. Yeah,
Just pull them across.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cause
It's not too bad. I put in radiators yesterday.
Nice. I've one room to renovate, and I want to get one of those old vintage radiators. You know the big steel ones you see in your old school. I want to get one of them, but I don't know whether I can retrofit that into an existing 2-pipe thing.
I'm sure you can if the fittings are available.
I'll be doing a whiskey room in the house.
Oh, lovely, with an old radiator in it.
Yeah.
Lovely.
We just
A
want-
whiskey room.
well, a gin room. It's going to be a whiskey style thing. I have to Google whiskey rooms for inspiration.
Rooms to fucking spare out there in Kildaki. One for Jane, one for your shoes.
I don't have a shoe room. Who has a shoe
We've got a
room?
room for Jane. And how did you learn how to do any of that early stuff? Was it just YouTube?
Yeah,
Yeah.
YouTube's
great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And then trying stuff out.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it's all pretty easy. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
Some stuff is complicated, but like plumbing is not really. I don't want to diss any plumbers out there. I'm just say, for what I'm doing, I'm not plumbing a house from scratch. I'm just adding on stuff to what's already there.
Yeah,
You're just making connections. It's like Lego.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Right.
And did you have all the tools? Like one of my burdens was not having the right tools, and my wife's always like, "Will you do that tomorrow?" I'm like, "I don't have the tools. Can't do it."
Yeah, but then you're like, oh, now I have an excuse to go out and buy tools. Oh, great.
yeah, true.
Use that to its full potential.
Yeah.
And
It's
just
just
buy and be like, oh, I need this tool.
I'd be worried to buy one tool though, because then you'd never use it again. But then all of a sudden, then you find yourself wanting it the next time.
you think
Yeah.
that, but like,
I want to buy a nail gun, like one of those nail guns, like 350 quid. But
Do you have a purpose for it now at the moment?
yeah, I need to do all the skirting all around,
All right, okay.
around the house. But
I'm not big into nails because if you make a mistake, they're awkward as hell to take out.
true. What would you use to put on skirting then?
Screws. Or
Screw into the stud itself, and then just patch it up, the screw head.
yeah, or drive the screw right through so you can't actually see it. You might just see a tiny hole, but like if you're looking at your skirting board, well, your skirting board's white, yeah, I suppose that might stand out quite a bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, you could fill over,
You would
or use nails.
and paint it.
It's your house.
Yeah, interesting.
advice.
Just in general, like,
Yeah,
And electrical stuff. Where do you stand in electricity?
well, I was an electrical apprentice for 6 months.
Oh, well, Dan, there you go.
6 months. Cool.
6 months. But that was
Qualified.
That's kind of like you said.
yeah. I was a plumber for 6 months or so.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you could have
And
done
then
our radiators first.
I ran. This was my first intro to the podcast. I ran. I was the head of plumbing in Navanhire. Because I told the lad in Navanhire that I had like so many years experience as a plumber. He took me on, and then after like a matter of weeks, he was like,
You know nothing.
You know
You
nothing
lied.
about plumbing. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm going to have to fire you. I'm like, okay, good. This is great.
Thanks.
So you did,
No way.
you did a Sparks, yeah. Did you have a Mitsubishi Colt when you did the Sparks?
That was my first car.
Okay, now I remember.
That was a piece of crap.
So did that experience set you up, do you think, for doing Spark stuff in your house?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, even like there's some theory involved, so you need to know like how much power is going through cables and what sizes to use and that kind of stuff. But other than that, you're just making connections. It's like plumbing. You
Right.
just match the colors.
And just turn off the power.
Yeah, if you need to. If you,
You wouldn't be worried about like dealing with electrical wires and stuff?
not really, no.
No.
I've got shocks before.
Yeah.
Loads and loads of them.
New hairstyle.
Yeah, no. I don't know. Maybe. Well, like I said, I worked with it for like 6 months, so maybe that gave me the confidence to do it. I think a lot of it comes down to confidence. If you're not confident, you won't even try.
Yeah.
And if you do try, then you'll see that it's not so bad.
And a very accepting wife, by the signs of things.
Oh yeah, she's some woman.
When did you start? Like, are you finished?
What?
The house?
Oh no.
It'll never be finished.
We did the last 5 years.
Okay, very good.
He's
Still
building a replica of the Playboy Mansion. Is what's gonna it's gonna finish
Nice.
up like
What's the pool? You're doing a pool?
In Lego.
in Lego. Yeah.
I actually have a pond that will double
Nice.
as a pool in the summer.
Ah, excellent.
That's
That's
savage.
awesome. Will you put in some fish and stuff like that? And
Yeah, that's done now. That's
Brilliant.
We did that last year.
class.
And
Yeah,
the
it's
walls on the inside, were they lime plastered?
No, they weren't. They were. Oh no, sorry, they were. The really old lime plaster on it.
Take it down, no, and repoint the brickwork, or did you plaster over it?
A bit of both. Because when we moved in, the walls had a lime plaster on it, and then they had wallpaper on top of that, and then they had like multiple coats of paint over the years. So it was just
Lead paint as well.
To stop the damp getting in.
it was just a mess. Like, so we had to rip everything out, and yeah, we did lime plaster some of it, and then other parts of it are stone and brick. And we repointed that.
And did your other half then? Did she get involved? Did she get her hands dirty as well?
No, well, she kind of finances stuff,
Very good.
so that's her.
That was her responsibility.
Yeah,
Finance department,
Good.
building department.
Counts.
she does the garden. She looks after the garden.
Everybody needs accounts.
The garden is amazing. And
Yeah,
does,
she loves the garden stuff.
Yeah, she does a lot of gardening, and
Fair play to her.
yeah, she puts a lot of work into
And
it.
where does she get her green fingers from?
Her mother likes gardening.
Yeah.
She kind of took on gardening in our old house. We were all before we moved. We were renting an old kind of stone farmhouse with a nice
Lovely.
old, really mature kind of nice garden.
Oh, sounds nice.
So
Yeah.
she was doing work in that, and then she got her own garden when we moved. So
Brilliant. She's delighted.
she's kind of gone all out. All
So that's her DIY project, really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess
fair
that's
play.
fair to say. Yeah, she's kind of
Lovely.
taking care of that end of it. But yeah, she's doing a ton of work. She was going out. She'll probably give out to me for saying this, but she was growing flowers last year,
Right.
and she was apparently the slugs love them, so she was determined not to let slugs get them. So she was going out every night with a torch
Yes.
and a bag, going around like
Legend.
slug hunting.
You just put you put eggshells around them.
Yeah, I think she tried that.
Doesn't work now? It worked for my cabbage.
So we're going to take a look at the Instagram for Bective Mill, and you can talk us through some of the stuff that's happening out there.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
If there's listeners that probably don't know Bective Mill, say, how would you describe Bective Mill? And
Oh, that's a very good question, John.
just for people, like obviously we locals listen to us, but there might be some people that
Oh,
don't
oh, yeah.
know
If
about.
someone turned up and wanted a photo with a windmill, is that possible?
with a windmill.
Bertie clearly has never been to Bective Mill.
No.
No, I'm just trying to, so people aren't rocking up looking for windmills, and then you get in an argument saying, well, we don't have
it's
windmills.
not all about wind, though, isn't it? You can get
The word wind isn't in the title
like
at all.
Pretty sure there's a
I'm
river
just
next door
trying
as well.
to, yeah, I'm just trying to get what kind of mill, just so people aren't
It's
disappointed. What happens if a load of Dutch people turn up and they're looking for windmills?
Right, yeah, that's
They'd be
fair,
sick. Oh no! Look, another windmill.
fair point. But she was about to explain. So let's. What was that? Oh
That's
my
third
lord.
person.
Okay. So tell us about Bective Mill.
Okay, so Bective Mill is where I grew up. When my parents bought it in 1992 or whatever, it always was going to be a B&B. And we ran it as a B&B for years, and in 2016 I decided that myself and Paul, my husband, decided that we wanted to open up a glamping site and a coffee shop. I just had my son at the time. I had worked in a call centre, and it was just the most horrific job ever. And I hated my bosses. They were such assholes. And I just thought, Jesus, I have to figure out something now. I have a child and I don't want to go back to a shitty job like that. So, you know, we'd been away in Canada. We'd done some camping. We just, I suppose when you're in, I don't want to sound shitty now, but like I feel like there's this kind of thing in Ireland where, you know, you get into the habit of going out every weekend.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, you work all week and then you go out and you blow all your money on drink and going out.
Yeah.
And then we went to Canada, that changed for us. We were kind of going out at the weekends, being a bit more outdoorsy, and we just came back to Ireland and we just felt like, you know, I know we just wanted to do something different, so we decided to put in planning application then for the glamping, for the coffee shop, and so that ended up being a nightmare.
Yeah.
It ended up being 5 years that coming through, so you know we were pushed back lots, and then we had the sauna. So Liam Irwin approached us during COVID about opening up a sauna, and like, you know, Bective is it's a very, like, it attracts very unique things. Let's just say that, like, over the years, we've had some, like, really interesting characters who stay with us or work with us. So Liam came to us about opening up the sauna, and I just thought, you know, this is just one of those things where people come and they just say things to us, and we're like, okay, fine. But yeah, he came and he ran through his plans about opening up the sauna. It was in the middle of lockdown. And then, I ended up opening, he was like, we should open up a coffee dock, so have people come down here. So I ended up opening up the coffee dock. So as we are now, there's a sauna down there that's run by the lads in the hot box. There is glamping, because we got our glamping approved eventually. And then there's a coffee dock, and we run yoga classes. I kind of became a yoga teacher in the middle of it all. So we run yoga classes, and now we have our new Geodome as well. So just pretty much everything. Like, we've run music festivals, we've had raves down there before. You know, it's kind of it's a bit of everything.
What held up the planning application? Like the access, or what you were going to do? Or 5 years is a long time to
it's a long
on hold
time
for a business. Like,
to be honest, it was very, very difficult time, because, you know, a lot of money had to go into different surveys. So the mill itself is listed. We had to get bat surveys. There was the special area of conservation. We were next door to a river, and then our neighbour as well. Like, I think all those years of raves or whatever might have pissed him off a little bit. So
that's literally right next door, isn't it?
Pardon?
Is that right next door? I'm trying to imagine. There's like a house right next door.
Oh
to you
yeah,
guys, isn't it?
yeah. It's just at the top of the lane there. Yeah. So, it you know, it was a very difficult 5 years. You know, we were putting an awful lot of money into it, and it kind of got to the stage where it was like, you know, do we keep at this? Do we keep pumping money into it? And then at the same time, you're like, well, we've already done so much, you know, and this is what we want to do. And so, like, in the midst of the 5 years as well, the mill burnt down. So
I remember that. That was so
I have
sad.
a picture here. Hold on, let's have a quick look.
how far did it burn down? Like, burn down?
oh yeah, totally burned
Was
down.
that like accidental or electrical or what?
Well, I have my own theory, but
Right. There's a picture there. Look up on the screen behind you.
I remember seeing that. I was so upset for you guys.
yeah, I think everyone could see it around. Like, there's just smoke billowing.
That looks like it's part of the movie.
It really does.
Yeah,
It's
I wish it
unbelievable.
was. And I was there by myself that day.
What?
Well, I wasn't. We had a woofer staying with us, you know, it's the World Organic Farmers. They basically, like, people who travel, and you keep them, so you give them their dinners, and they'll stay with you and they'll work a few hours.
Right.
So we had a woofer with us at that time as well. She was actually staying in that room where the big flame is coming out of. Yeah.
So
Smoking weed, was she?
what was the cause of it? Did you ever get a report on it?
Well, it's very obvious. So at the time, the B&B was flying, and the tumble dryers were going like 24/7,
Right.
and whatever happened, as you know, tumble dryers do, caught on fire. Like, you can see it. It's like that's you can tell just where there was an inferno there,
Right.
like
Wow. Just in that corner or whatever it was.
Yeah, and then like at the same time, like a couple of weeks after the fire, there was a recall on washing machines, and there was me. I was like going into like the whatever was left of the building, trying to see if I could get like a serial number or something, because that would have been an amazing payday.
Right.
The mill wasn't insured because it cost maybe 10 grand a year to insure it. So yeah, I had my yoga room just finished. I had bought
What
lighting
a hit.
for the yoga room literally the day before it happened. I was in the car and I was sitting there and I was like I had all this new lighting. I'd spent like about €300 getting it, and it was in my car, and I was like, oh, like be a lazy bitch and just leave the lights in the car. And I was like, no, you're a serious businesswoman now. You're going to take those lights out and put them in so they're ready for the next day. And I did that, and then yeah. So
Oh, God.
when was that? How long ago?
2009, July 2019.
And what way is it now?
It's still the same.
Hmm.
We've got grants to get the roof repaired, but you're like I think we got,
Because it's a listed building, you can apply for grants and stuff, is it?
yeah, but Jesus, like I think we got a grant approved like 25,000, and that would be like I'd say that'd fix a window.
Clean the wall.
Yeah,
It
nothing
clean the
really.
wall, exactly.
Because
yeah.
you'd obviously have to put the same kind of slate on it,
Yeah.
which is probably nowadays is really expensive slate.
Well, I think they were okay with us putting the galvanized back on it, because it was like that before. They were thinking maybe like a green galvanized or something along those lines. Like they are trying to be somewhat realistic, but you know it's very.
And how many rooms was in that for the B&B?
Oh, the B&B wasn't in that room.
Oh, no, it's not.
no. So there was my yoga room, and there was an apartment that
Oh,
probably should have been in there, but it was.
oh, and then all the dryers and stuff was in there.
All
as
the
well?
dryers
okay.
in the basement. So we think it was a dryer, but on the day, like we were. So when it happened, I was supposed to go to Facebook a summer party with Paul, and I was there getting ready, and next thing, like I was staying in the cabin at the time, the door just gets kicked in, and I can't remember her name. It was like Sabrina. It was like, Sinead, the mill is on fire, and I was like. I just was like, because I actually saw this weird coloured smoke going past the window, and I was like, oh, well, neighbours obviously burning rubbish or whatever. And then like that happened. She shouted and just at the middle of fire, and I ran outside, and lo and behold, his smoke was just billowing out. And we've such bad signal down there, and the phone was like hopping out of my hand. I'm trying to ring the fire brigade, and they're trying to ring me back, and at the same time, I'm just thinking, oh my God, where's the dog?
Oh, yeah.
So when Jake was okay, I was like, right, that was somewhat of a relief. But yeah, I got through to the fire brigade. Anyway, we all just basically stood out. It was real awkward. We were just standing there, like we all had tears in our eyes. We were, you know, watching the mill burn down. Like all of our neighbours were piling down, and it was just like silent for a little minute, and we're just like watching it. Like you hear like nothing you can do, and you hear like things falling down, and it was just
all timber floor and timber beams.
yeah. So it was an awful situation. I just went quiet, and then my mom turned around and she was like, well, I guess I don't have to do the ironing today. It's like,
That's proper Irish mammy right
Yeah.
there.
yeah. And now ever since I'm like, you burned the mill down.
And you lost your clothes obviously as well.
It was only bed sheets.
Ah, that's okay.
Yeah.
They can be replaced.
Well,
I
actually, no, we'd actually a lot of storage in there as well, like Ollie's little baby clothes. Yes, that was a kick in the teeth.
suppose. That's horrible. And the structure's still standing though, isn't it? Like structurally
Yeah.
it's still there.
Structurally, it's fairly sound. You know, I think we could eventually, you know, do something with it. The main priority is to get a roof on it because it's just so exposed at the moment. So
Yeah. And the wheel is still on the outside.
yeah,
the actual mill
yeah.
itself. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, like actually the millstones, are they called grindstones? No, millstones. Yeah, they're all intact in there. And you can see like all the mechanics of the wheel are still there. But
On our podcast this week, this man stood up to the plate. He's here this week to talk everything. Actually, we won't introduce the topic yet, will we? No.
No.
We'll get into the topic a
but
little
keep
later.
tuned for the Chocolate Bar World Cup later on.
Oh, that too, yeah.
And of course our waffle game. And finish off with our albums.
The wonderful Robert Matthews is with us
Yes.
today.
How are you, lads?
It's
How are
been
you,
a
Rob?
long time coming. Get in on top of that mic there.
All right.
It's been a long time
Just get your
coming.
mouth off the mic, Rob. Jeez, disgusting.
You were on it's not your first podcast. You were on the F1 podcast
I
as well.
did a little bit of podcasting with you before, yeah.
Yeah, he's a pro at this now. in
With the
fairness.
Formula 1 one.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Are you into Formula 1?
Out Not so much. I was.
Okay.
I was in and out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it's not boring, that's shite. But
It's a bit boring. This
I like to watch the start of it and then that's it.
Yeah,
that's
the first
pretty much the
corners.
best bit,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Just cars going around.
yeah. They are, but they go round in different corners in different ways. And
But
stuff.
rally is better.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
it is. It's a lot more exciting.
Okay,
Professional
let's not get into
go-karting.
F1. F1
Go-karting is awesome.
Go-karting is awesome, but that's the start of F1. That's where they all start off.
That's where they all kick off, yeah.
You know?
But you could quite possibly have a WRC or WRX car, but you can't drive a Formula 1 car down the road.
I wish I had a car at the moment, to be honest.
Ooh, touchy subject.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Come here to me, Rob. What did you get up for your weekend, there, boss?
I had a busy old weekend. We had a couple of communions to go to on Saturday,
Ooh.
and then gigging in the Central, which you're well aware of.
Oh yeah, I was there too. Yeah.
Oh,
And then on Sunday we were at the Dundry Fair.
On Dundry.
The
Dundry.
Was
Aye.
Dundry Fair packed?
It was busy, yeah. It was a busy one this year because
Yeah.
I think last year now it was fairly wet, so it was quiet. Like, but I did a good crowd around this year.
Yeah, I saw a video of a device that you strap children into.
Yes.
One of my children was strapped into said device, and it was going round in a big circle and was making everyone look like they were going to get sick.
Did they have the picnic bench that gets lifted up by the crane? that's always a great
And
ride.
the spider baby.
More water.
What's Dundry Fair about? Is it like a farming fair? Is it what is it?
My impression of it is kind of a farming fair, yeah. Like they're buying and selling different animals, and
Right.
Oh, actual trade happens there, like.
but well,
Isn't that what historically it was to deal in animals, like? And
was it?
I think so, wasn't it? A farmery type thing for
I thought it was just
selling,
drink.
That's kind of generally what most of them fairs are. They like,
Yeah,
selling produce and stuff. And
It's like
And
the
then-
Scottish Town Fair used to be on Market Street. Because Market Street is called Market Street because there used to be a market on it where they bought and sell cattle and
it'd
sheep
be
and stuff.
cool to have it in there, wouldn't it?
Well, they used to up until like people complain about smells and all that, and then it got moved. Because I still remember that fair being in Market Street. I'm pretty sure it was that, not the haymaking. Pretty sure it was Scottish Town.
Because then we could have. Do you remember? Was it the Gumball Rally that came through Trim?
Oh yeah.
And then there was a girl in like an Opel Corsa or something that drove through.
She went the
got
wrong
stuck
way.
in the middle there.
Yeah.
We could have her driving through the
She got the
market.
biggest cheer.
Fair play to her. So that was the weekend.
that was the
Dundry,
weekend, yeah.
Dundry
Then
Fair.
went out on the bike then after the fair.
Oh.
Careful! Don't blow the load. So that was your weekend.
Aye, that was it.
YouTuber faces 20 years in prison after admitting to crashing a plane for views. Did you see the video of it?
No.
No.
So this
heard
young,
about this.
young fella, yeah, Trevor Jacob.
Doesn't look that young.
How did you get a plane?
I'm not sure.
This is a YouTuber and he's worth a fortune.
Yeah, I guess he just bought a plane.
Oh,
I
he
think
bought a plane?
I think it very much is his own plane.
Okay, so
And he-
it's your own plane.
He flew it, right, well, here's the problem. He flew it up into the sky, he took it up a certain amount, and then he just bailed out of it. And then he was filming it from his phone, watching the plane go down and stuff.
Oh,
Right.
but that could have went down anywhere.
There's the problem, right? So he's facing 20 years, basically, for endangering people's lives.
Yeah, you imagine you out fishing in a lake in a boat. Next man playing at you.
Well, I thought you were going to say, so you like threw your fish away or something, or threw your fish
Or hit your fishing line after you just caught one.
You get a fishing line right in the neck. But yeah, there's that. I think the area was somewhat. It was like a vast abandoned area.
Yeah.
But you just don't know. There's wildlife down there as well. There could be anyone hiking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could be
Just-
vegans down there.
That's true. Yeah.
And like he had no defense. It's like, no, I didn't do that. And there's like to play a video of the YouTube
But he
clip.
you can just see it clearly. So I think this guy's, as you like to use the term, rubber ducked.
He
And
filmed it all just to have evidence for everyone there.
Yeah. So like he's got his wish anyway. He's pretty famous now, but he's going to end up in prison, unfortunately.
How long? 20 years.
20 years.
What country's that?
I think it was Australia.
Oh, their prisons aren't too bad.
Trevor Jacob.
Different to Colombia or something.
Well, yeah, well, they're the original penal colony, aren't they? They're used to that over there. All right. Well, Trevor, you silly goose, don't do that again. All right. So the next one. Office worker causes. You can have a look at the. Oh no, I cut it off. Office worker causes controversy by padlocking their milk in the communal fridge.
Good lord.
So he managed to close it with a padlock.
How do you do
The
that?
fridge or the milk?
There was like a little plastic top that he got that had little holes in it, and he was able to put a padlock in the top of it. We all we all live with people, right? There's always other people. Do you ever have a problem with people taking your stuff, or do you have a certain
Oh, in work, yeah.
area in the house or something? So work. Start with that anyway. In work, what's your?
Well, I got a little lunch bag now, and I have all my stuff in my lunch bag. I don't put stuff in the fridge by itself anymore because that goes missing. But when it's in a bag, it feels like you're breaking and entering, so people don't open your bag.
Right.
Because it's your private property.
Yeah.
But like milk would have went missing, and if you left like a bar or whatever around, or different things went missing. Yeah.
It'd be more hilarious if there's just one colleague. Like, who is doing this? I have no idea.
It's crazy how he's sipping his tea.
Like, you don't mind people texting you and say, "Oh, is that your thing in the fridge or whatever? Can I have some?" That's grand. But take it and not say that you took it, and then not replace it is worse. Like,
Is there a certain shout for the fridge should have communal milk? Like, it should just stay stocked. Someone should stock up the fridge.
no, because that'll end up always being one person stocking it.
Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it?
And then it's your money that's being wasted. So I have my little milk bottle, and I just put exactly the amount to make 2 cups of tea. So even if someone asks me for milk, I'm like, I don't have milk.
I've really got
That's what you have to do now. That is what you have to do.
I'm glad I brought up this topic. That's hilarious.
Now, Owen does ask to borrow milk sometimes, but Owen takes like the smallest bit of milk. Like, it's not even worth putting in his... He may as well just drink black tea.
Right.
Because it's pointless putting in the milk. The drop he puts in his tea actually makes his tea worse.
Oh, yeah.
He's always looking for a shout out in the podcast too.
Boy, Owen.
Don't give it to him.
Yeah.
Is he the guy that loves Lego?
Loves Lego.
And rice or something?
No, loves Lego and pancakes with Nutella for his breakfast.
That's what it is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How are you, Owen?
How are you on? Nice
What age is he?
24?
Right, he's only a young
Maybe
buck.
this year.
Young buck. Plays a bit of football, does he?
He does. He plays with Longwood as well now.
Oh, does he? He's a local lad.
Yeah, centre mid.
All right. Was there a bit of nepotism there? Did you get him the job in the gym?
I did, yeah. We were playing together at Park Celtic, and we needed a fella. And I was like,
Favoritism.
"Oh, you can't find a job after doing your master's degree in geography, resource, environmental something."
That's what his job is?
Yeah. And
Oh my God.
He'd done invigilating in the college, so he was already had a staff number.
Sorry, you said he was a vigilante in the college. Is that what you said?
No, he was invigilating.
You don't do that in public.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
So explain what that is.
That's the person that walks down the aisles in exams to make sure you're not cheating.
Oh, right.
Invigilating.
Yeah, invigilating.
Oh, God. So
Yeah.
great
So
word.
he already had a staff number in the college, so it was just I just said to Paul, "Oh, Owen's looking for a job, and we have a job. We give him a job." And Paul's like, "Yeah, tell him to come in tomorrow." And then he came in, and he's there 2 years there.
Yeah, very good.
Can we swing back to invigilating for a second?
Yeah.
Where else can you use this in life? What else does invigilating mean? Like what?
I have no idea. You just do it in exams, I think.
So only exams.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know where
So
else
like
you
watching
would-
over someone's work wouldn't be invigilating. It's more just
No,
about
because
exams.
why would you have to watch over? Because they're like cheating isn't a thing.
Okay, so it's to monitor cheating.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Irish woodsman trapped in the city, studying forestry and throwing axes. That is a hell of a title.
Loves a bit of wood.
Why, hello. Yeah.
Hey.
I've never heard that read out loud before. That sounded way cooler when I wrote it down.
It's very cool.
It is.
Very cool.
Well, thank you for that introduction. Yeah, and thank you very much for having me.
And he's
on
got the
podcast.
hat and the shirt to match his bio as
You
well.
do look.
We actually do have a merch store, axeclub.ie, so check us out. Yeah,
That's
like,
so
Ah,
There is
There
a
you
question I've wanted to ask for a long, long time before I met someone like this. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
it's comparable to how much oil a gumboil
Okay.
could boil. If a gumboil could boil oil.
Oh, touche.
Yeah,
There's a comeback.
Well, thank you for that introduction. Yeah, the summary is quite literally that is exactly what I've been doing in the last year and a half, or at the very least since maybe last January. I commenced a forestry course with UCD. I'm temporarily on a leave of absence, just dealing with adult stuff as being a mature student. Sucks.
Yeah.
But I'll be back in September committing to a forestry course that hopefully will get me into a forest manager position within Quilch in maybe 5 or 6 years. But until then, I plan on being in Dublin City throwing axes at least every Tuesday for the league nights, and then every weekend for the open sessions we run at Axe Club Dub.
Oh, that is unbelievable.
Axe Club Dub
So
is an
smooth,
awesome
isn't
name.
he, on the mic? He's so
yeah.
smooth.
So smooth.
So, was this something that you were inclusive of the forestry? Is this something you felt that you were kind of called to? You're living in the city. Did you? And you see it in your bio as well. You use the word trapped. Is that something that you really felt that in Dublin you felt trapped by being in the city?
Ooh, not to get all philosophical actually, but just I think it's something that maybe our entire generation, Irish people as such, we're great people for emigrating every time the proverbial hits the fan as such. So when we end up in a city environment, it's generally, we still have very fond memories of living in the countryside, or we have relatives in the countryside. We have that free spirit where we want to be able to at least go out and enjoy the outdoors as much as possible. And while in the city, I did find myself drawn to the axe throwing as a nice social space. Like, the guys that set it up are very much bushcraft instructors. They are woods people. They've got their own little venue out in Wicklow, and that as well is a great asset for anyone. Not to plug every single thing about the company, but as an asset goes, like, axe throwing is lovely, but heading out to Wicklow and talking to guys who know their bushcraft skills, who understand nature, and also will show you how to throw loads of other kinds of axes, like tomahawks, double bits. There's stuff out there that you get to throw at big old hunks of wood and it sticks in sometimes.
Awesome,
Nice.
That's about as much as.
So it's good. Would it be good for anger management, as in releasing some anger and stuff?
Good for managing anger as opposed to releasing it, because it does take a calming kind of you have to get the technique down. And although 90% of the people that we have coming into the venues are all looking for rage rooms, actually. So
it's about
Valentine's weekend was a lot of girls groups just like, we're looking for a rage room. This was the closest thing to it.
Do they exist?
Not in this country. Apparently recycling all the material is a goddamn nightmare. But over in the States, where they just landfill the crap out of everything, every city's got like 10 of them on each block.
Wow, that's insane. And so what was it about axe throwing in particular? Is it something that you kind of fell into? Did you see it on social media, or what was it?
Funny story, I guess. Over the last 5 years, this is where it gets into the whole what it's like living in a city, especially during COVID. So a lot of people would have felt quite trapped in their small limited space apartments. For me, I've always kind of just found ways to get out of the city. During COVID though, I was working for a large local semiconductor company, and it was in my background. I wanted to work in sustainable energy, loved all the idea of like actually being paid to be a field engineer or researcher or technician. It didn't matter whether it was water sampling or working on a wind turbine. It was just, my intention was to eventually get out of the city. And during COVID, I made a decision to get a mortgage, to wipe the slate clean on having all these odd jobs of going into a bank and them looking at me just being like, there's no way you have a stable income. So I got a stable income, and then I quit as soon as the mortgage was signed.
Nice.
Beautiful.
High five.
Yeah, well done.
Nice. But within that, it was a great opportunity, and I just got the sentiment from the guys that were setting it up that they were sincere. They weren't looking to set up a new trend. They just kind of saw that it was popular in a lot of cities, and they were trying to round out their own bushcraft experience. And I just happened to live close enough and be mad enough and have the experience in events and hospitality enough that I could just kind of go in there and just learn how to axe throw and then do the rest of the job. I think if Matt and Heath are listening, I hope that's what you perceive I'm doing. but yeah, and also it is, as John pointed out, the anger management side of it, it is quite therapeutic to have something physical to do, whether you go to the gym, whether you play sports with friends. The axe throwing kind of thing as well, I don't know what got me started. I have considered this, and I think it was Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. There was a dude in that at least I think in one of the opening scenes, as in the like early 90s, early 80s or late 80s kind of TV shows where they have that scene where everyone's smiling at the camera with their name up. One dude just like kicks open the door and like throws an axe at a wall, and I must have seen that at the wrong time of my young life.
Or right
Too
time.
many times. Or right time. It just took me 20 years to get back on the horse. But yeah, like just the axe throwing vibe, I guess. It's just it's part of hand tool skills, sportsmanship, getting a new skill, a new technique, and also just having something cathartic to do with mates. And the social space as well is pretty wicked, whether you're in the Dublin City Centre venue, you head out to Wicklow on a hike, maybe and round out the day with it, or, and this is my favourite new part, is when I joined the company, the guys already had the ball rolling on this, but I'm now the mobile range manager, so bringing this thing to festivals, weddings, funerals, if that's the vibe.
It's not the coffin on the other end of the throwing range, is it? No.
But like everything from like hen parties and stag parties have frequented the venue lately.
Wow.
But you get a lot of like family meetups, like 4 or 5 generations of a family will wing it in, and like the matriarch, the great grandmother, could be like nailing the bullseye, and it's better than watching a child walk for the first time.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if your own child walking for them, but just in general, seeing kids like fail at standing up compared to seeing a grandmother nailing a bullseye with a hatchet.
And the technique behind it, can you explain? Because
Indeed.
I've never done it before.
Indeed.
And my thought process is, I'm just going to pick up the axe and surely I can just throw it. It's not as easy as that, is it?
Can you do it off a horse?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I don't have a horse. Now, I can probably do it off a bicycle, but that's only because I live in Northside Dublin and I'm confident of my skills.
Throwing stones.
That's it, yeah. It's pretty much anything can be thrown around that neck of the woods. But yeah, no, the technique, and there are some great athletes within my midst. This isn't just my experience or me feeling overly confident about it. I've spoken to quite a few that have performed in the World Championships, and yet there is such a thing. The guys who set up the axe throwing venue in Dublin and Wicklow, Matt Lavelle and Heath Dawson, they were over in Nova Scotia last September at the World Championships, and a lady who'd only started throwing in Ireland in 2018, Keola McGowan, she took the World Championship for the women's section.
Wow.
And so I've spoken with her about her technique and some of her war stories or anecdotes. And Heath, who set up axe throwing, he was, I think it was third in that World Championship. So he's been a wealth of information about the technique. And the most important thing I can tell all of you is that every movie you've ever seen, when everybody's all macho and roaring and shouting and just letting all their anger out, and it's all with the arm, this big muscular goddamn walking into the room shaking hands with Schwarzenegger at the start of Predator, arm. None of that is helpful. It's all about momentum and stepping into your throw in such a way that you are giving it consistent power. So when you step into your axe throw, you are releasing the axe after it's been gracefully brought forward by your arm, but your step forward allows for your body weight to be supported by your leg that steps forward. So your chest moves forward, it is supported by the step, and your body weight is then placed into the axe, and the potential energy is sent right toward the target, and that gives it the same spin, the same power, and you can be more accurate then.
Right.
How accurate can you be?
For me,
Well, no, in general, like, have you seen The Patriot?
which one, sorry?
The Patriot with Mel Gibson.
Oh God, yeah, loads of
So,
times. Are you talking specifically about the aim small, miss small scene? Because I watched that shit on slow mo.
No, that's when they have the rifles. But remember, Heath Ledger's after being taken by the Redcoats, and one of them is holding him and knife to his throat, and Mel Gibson throws his whatever axe he has and hits your man square in the forehead.
Oh, aye.
Like, could you be that accurate? Like a person that's good at
Absolutely, a person that's good enough at it. There's 2 locations on the top of targets that are used for tomahawk or hatchet throwing ranges. The range is usually about 12 foot. That's about, I think, about the distance that he was at there. And sorry for using the old imperial system. I tried to look this stuff up in metric, but everything is in feet when it's a North American sport that's kind of spread across the West. But yeah, about that distance away. And this is like, I'm speaking not only from what I can do on a good day, but a lot of the instructors I work with, and even some of the savants you get coming in that have never picked up a hatchet before. After an hour, there's these 2 spots on the top of the target, on the top right and the top left. Over in the States, it's called the kill shot, because it's pretty much just head height, and it's about the size of, a €2 coin, maybe a little bit bigger.
Okay, so at the end of May 2023... This year, just gone.
Yep.
You took a trip, Paul Caldwell, to Scotland.
Yes, guard.
No, that's next week. Can you explain exactly what this trip was all about? Why did you go and partake in this madness?
Because I'm a bit mad.
You are a bit mad.
And I like bikes.
Explain exactly what it's all about. What is this? It's a Highland.
It's called the Highland Trail 550.
Mm-hmm.
You have to wear a kilt.
You don't have to wear a kilt, but you can if you want.
Oh.
I wouldn't recommend it.
No, I wouldn't say so.
No, you cut the balls off. So I was on here, a year and a half ago?
Yeah, easily, yeah.
And I've been in Iceland and I've been to Scotland since.
JD.
And I've done 2 big trips.
Right.
Across the water.
One of the trips not so successful. Well, it was successful in the end.
Yeah, I did another podcast
Oh, you've done one of that.
Yeah,
Oh, we'll have to.
So we've-
Would you link us into that maybe?
I might.
Oh,
See-
really, mate?
see.
Oh, is it out yet?
That one has been out. You listened to it?
Did I?
It was the Cloud Force one.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, remember,
So-
it's kind of done. No,
Oh, right, okay,
finished with it.
Oh, right.
Just talking about it.
You
But
got
anyway, yeah. So Scotland, 550 miles, self-supported. Carry all your own gear on your bike, on a mountain bike. 16,000 meters climbing. Did I get that right? So it's about 970 kilometers or something.
So what's the 550 for?
It's 550 miles.
Okay, sorry, yes.
Remember, miles are there are a lot of miles.
Yeah, and so what's that in kilometers roughly?
Yeah,
All-
nine.
Oh, bag on your
970.
back or bag
Hang
on bike?
bag on the bike. So the picture you put up on
Yeah.
Instagram, there I have a bag in the middle of the bike, I have a bag in the front of the bike, and I have a bag in the back of the bike.
Which is about a lot of
And
weight.
then I have a bag on my back, but it's not. It's only a little water bladder thing on my back.
Platypus.
Bladderpus.
Beaver trying, a
Uh,
duck trying to get out of a beaver.
How much water can that hold on your
It's
back?
about 2 liters, and then so kind of I've had
And does it go back in from the other end?
both ends. Yeah.
Just needs the
filtration.
The water goes up your arse.
his own human
Comes from my
centipede.
arse into me mouth.
So come here to me. 2 liters isn't an awful lot of water.
No, so you kind of carry filtration. So that's the whole self-supported thing. You kind of have
Right.
to be
It's camping out then, is it?
everything.
What?
Yeah.
Holy
God.
shit!
Damn
Well,
it.
you're not going to do 550 miles without stopping for the night.
Yeah, of course.
And if
yeah.
anyone knows the Highlands in Scotland, they're pretty mental.
Wild.
Mm.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Is it gorgeous?
experience. Absolutely phenomenal.
Great views. What was the weather like?
It was actually really good. Previous years, it's absolutely lashed. And I was lucky that the weather was really good for the time that I was there.
I had a vision of
Both-
you like Mel Gibson when he returned to Scotland and he's standing in the thatched cottage, just all the roof is caved in and it's lashing rain. He just looks
Is
depressed.
that not Fatal Deviation?
That's another podcast. Not yet. We have to talk about that later. So 550 kilometers
550 miles.
Oh, miles. Sorry.
I'm trying to find the actual file of it here so I can give you the amount of kilometers that it is, but I will find it.
It's a hell of a lot of kilometers anyway.
There's a fair bit in it. There is a fair bit in it.
What you
but
recorded on Strava?
Strava, yeah. So I have, I kind of had to break it down.
Mm-hmm.
So you start in this little village in Tindrum that's just kind of north of Glasgow. Well, it's about 2 hours north of Glasgow.
Did you drive over to Gear?
I did.
Oh, yeah.
I got the boat.
And you
so
just
I
leave your
made
car up
sure-
there in this
You leave
place,
it in
Tindrum?
Tindrum, yeah. So
Right.
I got stayed in a hotel there and left the car there for whatever 4 days. My goal was to do it in at least 5 days, which is is a quick time.
Yeah.
It was probably a little bit ambitious.
I know it's self-supported, but
But-
do you have to find your own way, like navigation, or is there like
No,
signs and
so
all that
there's a
crap,
guy up there that has done this for years, right? So it's kind of like a bandit event, but this is the ultra kind of mountain bike scene the way it is now. They're not like fanfare events like, you go to like you do your Quest adventure races or your Sportives. They're not like that. Basically what you do is you kind of follow this guy on Instagram, or I think it's only Instagram actually, and you message him and you say, look, I'm interested in getting a place. And then if you're lucky enough, you have to send them a load of files to prove that you can actually make it through the event.
Right.
Yeah, so you have to show them like previous experience on the same kind of terrain with the same self-supported nature. So you have to kind of go and get vetted through it. Which is,
Jamie.
yeah, so it's mad. He doesn't just give it out to anyone. So then what happens then if you're successful? I was successful in 22 the year before, and I got COVID a couple of weeks before, and then I just said, look, can you defer? Well, I actually cancelled it, and he said, look, I'll defer it till next year. And
Oh,
then-
sound.
Yeah, so that was actually before I did the podcast the last time.
Mm-hmm.
So I had it on my list for a while, and I was kind of trying to. I just wanted to be right, So I got COVID then beforehand because it was the height of COVID, and it was a bit weird, and so I just knocked it on
because
the
it's
head.
intense, so you want to be in good
Oh man, you have to be in
shape,
great
to give
shape.
a good rattle, like.
Top
Great
notch.
shape. Yeah, great shape. So yeah, that's what happened. I deferred it, pushed it out to this year. So then it was shit or bust this year. So so Alan then he kind of goes through it, gets you all signed up. There is a limit on how many people can sign up. And this year he was trying to get parity between men and women. So he was trying to get 35 men and 35 women.
Right.
So I think he was just shy of the 35 women. I think he got about 30.
Right.
And there was 35 men, but there was probably another 70 in the, waiting for an entry.
Oh, right. Okay.
In the background. But I was lucky enough that I was number 35 that I got carried over. So,
Lovely.
yes, I had to give it a good go. So, yeah, got the boat over. All my gear with me this time. Not
On your own,
like
like,
I
do you have
used
a training buddy with you, or
No.
someone that had the crack with you? Or
No,
just
no,
on,
no
totally on
crack.
your own.
That's
no
exciting.
Nobody
isn't it?
go with me, John.
We should have went.
We could have done a
I go
podcast.
cycling to be alone.
Could have just put us on the bags.
No bother. Like, I would have put us all in the back of the Jeep there. But yeah, it wouldn't have been like Iceland where I flew over and they lost my bike. So yeah, no, we
you
weren't
get it
going
back?
through that. Yeah, that was
Where,
that's
it went
the other
somewhere
podcast. No, it stayed in Dublin. And then I got it when I was in the airport. I got it on the way home, so I got to bring my bike home. with
I
me.
read that. I think I read that in the news, didn't I? It was all over the news.
I was all over the news.
Yeah, I remember
there was
that
loads
time.
of bags going missing.
Yeah, I remember that.
They had there was an Irish cycling kind of news page kind of contacted me about it and wanted a bit of a spiel about it. But I did another podcast for a sponsor of mine and went in depth about it. But that was an experience in itself. But this wasn't happening for this one. This one, everything had to be well planned perfectly, and I had to have all my own gear
Yeah, you had the bike in the car anyway, or on the car?
in the car.
In the car when
in
you're
the
driving
car.
over. So there's no chance of
100%.
anything going wrong.
No,
What are you talking per day? So you want to do it in 5 days. So what's
Yeah.
that per day?
roughly 200
100 miles. Oh, it's 550. Yeah, you're right.
220k. So I was kind of going off K. So my goal, I think, the first night I was hitting the 200k mark, and then I was sleeping. So basically, you can kind of make up your own sleep schedule. Some people ride through the night.
Right.
There's a few mad jokes that do that. And
what,
they
just
tend-
solid?
This is through forest now. And
this is like
road,
mountain. There's mountain biking. This is proper
Whoa.
mountain biking. This is some of the best mountain biking I've ever done. And
So
I've done a lot of
they
mountain
obviously
biking.
have a headlight and a light on the bike. And
Yeah, but you're kind of at the limitation of your battery packs and stuff like that, because like I have a light, I'll probably get about 3 or 4 days, but if it's a dim light, you're not really going to see much in front of you. Plus, your head is fried.
Yeah.
You're not going to have great eyesight. It's going to be pretty nuts.
And so those guys that are going through the night, are they going also through the day? Are they just going until until they fall off the bike, basically?
Yeah, there's one guy. Now, he didn't do it this year, and it's Sofian Sahili, and he's renowned for it.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of these messaging career-y type dudes, that fly around the bikes. And
Yeah.
just
I
eat.
think he's from one of those. But it's a big thing in France, and I think he was in Paris or something, and he just got into this ultra racing. But his thing was that he rides through the night, and he'll ride for like 2 days without sleep.
Some bike.
That wasn't me.
Wouldn't we all?
No, I love sleep. Sleep's great, and I also like keeping my mind as in stable condition as much as I can.
So 2 days straight.
Well, he can, but he didn't do it this time.
Right.
But there was a couple. The guy that won it this year, Angus Young, no relation. No.
What?
Yeah.
Well, is there anything that man can't do?
Listen to AC/DC all the way. Class.
He's I'm sure he's sick of that joke, all right. Yeah. But a cool dude, really cool dude, really good. I hung out with him for a couple of days after the event. He is the coolest guy ever. He's actually a chemistry teacher
No
in
way.
the UK, and he's a young enough guy, but he is absolutely rapid on a bike.
Really?
Unbelievable. He was sleeping for like an hour or 2 hours at a time.
What?
Yeah, but he was sleeping like in a bivy bag, which is like just a little bag. Basically, you just get into this bag and you put a jacket
so
on.
he's
and
not
stick
setting
it
up
over
a
your
camp
head.
or
No,
anything.
no. I kind of had a half set up bivy kind of thing. So it was like a half a tent kind of yoke, and you slide into it. It was like
Just
getting
a
into an
little-
F1 car thing.
Yeah, it's like a little small, like it's close to the ground type little small yoke.
Yeah, it's like a little coffin thing.
Yeah.
And then but it kind of sits on your, your sleeping bag and stuff like that. But I kind of had a good bit of kit with me because I kind of wanted to get some decent sleep.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first day we started in Tyndrum, I think it was 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. I can't remember. Big group start outside this cafe. Pretty cool spot.
You all right,
All
John?
right there, John.
Jesus, you're
Fell over.
destroying the place. Fired the headphones at the already broken thingy.
It's gone.
I have to go. Yeah, go on ahead,
So,
sorry. My
um,
apologies. It's checking.
No, you're grand. You're grand. It's working.
Start again.
From the very start.
So yeah, you start
So
Tyndrum.
you like bikes?
I like bikes. You're cycling. So yeah, you start Tyndrum. Big group start. Everybody starts together. You start on the hill, kind of outside the town, and you're going to finish up there, so you can kind of leave stuff there for when you come back. But you don't know when you're going to come back. It could be 3, 4, 5. It could be 8 days out there.
Oh, right,
what's the
okay.
cap?
Oh yeah. I think the limit was. I think it was about 8 or 9 days.
Right, you have to have it done. with it.
Yeah, you have to have it done. There is a cut-off period. Now, the thing to note as well, and I'll probably get into this later, is that when you go out there, there's no going back because you're not getting public transport in the Highlands in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
It is a disaster. Like, you won't get buses, you won't get taxis, you get nothing. Like, it's proper wilderness. Like,
Yeah.
even the towns, like, you won't get from town to town. It's insane.
That's mad.
Yeah, so you're probably better off just.
And do people live up
sticking
there?
out.
Like, did you come across any locals and stuff?
Yeah, no, it is. It's populated. There's a lot of tourism.
You are on the road though for a bit of
Oh,
a
yeah.
while.
Yeah. Like, it's driving even there is crazy. Like, it's crazy. It's all little B roads and kind of small mountain roads and stuff like that. It is pretty nuts. So you're up around kind of Loch Ness and all kind of
Oh, being up there is nice.
Like
beautiful. Yeah.
Mountain biking to me is like
Although I drove.
you're always kind of up off the seat, going up and down things and going down and lefts and right. Is it that kind of cycling, or
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
just you're down a trail like the Portufields kind of?
Yeah, no, definitely not. No.
Have you any videos?
Yeah, I do. I have
We'll have to
a
get them
quick
up.
joke. Yeah, I'll show you there while I'm talking here. But yeah, so like it is proper mountain biking. It's mountain bike terrain. Like, you wouldn't go and do it on like a gravel bike or something equivalent like a semi road bike or a hybrid or something like that.
Yeah.
It's proper mountain biking.
And what day one, how many kilometres did you complete?
In day one, I did 205. I think it was just over the 200 mark. So
Jesus.
it was pretty nuts.
So what kind of like calories were you spending per day, and what did you have to eat?
It was mental, right? So the first day, the feed zone, like the places where you can actually resupply is what we call it. The places were few and far between.
Right.
So you had a couple of little points. Like, so I did a lot of research before. I obviously get the route posted to me like a couple of weeks before.
Yeah.
And I have to plan the route. So I kind of look at it and go, right, where am I getting food? Where am I packing back up? Where am I resupplying all my calories and everything, and getting my water from? Again, I'm getting my water from streams, and I'm using a water filter to kind of filter out and put it into my hydration pack or into my bottle or whatever. So you're kind of planning that. You're planning
awesome.
your food stops, but they're just like little garages. There's little tiny garages, and they have very limited food. Like, you probably get a sandwich in one, or and some of them you only get bars. Like, there was one there and it was horrendous. It was just literally like the worst stuff you could have got. Like, and it was a tiny little shop, and like, obviously I'm
For local
vegetarian. Yeah, it was proper for local people.
He's
And
a
they had-
vegetarian.
I'm vegetarian, so they had.
That's what I was laughing at.
Oh, right.
He said for local people.
Oh, I thought you said for vegetarians.
No,
All right.
The
So-
local shop for local.
Oh, that was you that said vegetarian. Sorry, my bad.
He was. Look at that one there, John.
That's awesome.
Right there. So he so I went into the shop, and there's this dude, and he reeked of fucking ganj, and he just was sitting there, and he's like, ugh. So I was in, and I was like mad for like hot food, or like something like that didn't have a load of meat in it, but everything. Yeah, and I was trying to ask him. He's like, "Oh yeah, that mightn't have meat in it," and then I'd get by it, and then I'd cut it in half or something, and I was like,
sausages.
yeah,
like
there's
a
like
beak.
sausages or something in it. Yeah, like a chicken's head pops out.
It is for a vegetarian. Just take the sausages out.
I was like, "Is there that in vegetarian?" He's like, "There's bread over there," and you're like, "Oh, fuck's sake."
The Highlands
So-
of Scotland.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like the first shop. So we'll go back to day one, starting Tyndrum. The first shop was 100 miles,
Right.
which is 160k in. So I had to have enough food and water to do me the 160k. So I got to 100. I got to that point. Now I kind of went a bit too hard at the start. I got in with a couple of dudes that were pretty good, and they're kind of renowned for being really
you were
good.
going
Okay,
your
I'm
own
watching.
pace,
I'm watching
Yeah.
the video you doing it, like, and you are bombing up the road.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Yeah, and I shouldn't have been with them lads. Honestly, I kind of I bit off more than I could chew there. And I kind of started feeling it there when I got to the 160 mark.
Yeah.
So I was I was a little bit gassed, and I was trying to get as much into me as I could.
What's that off a GoPro though?
Yeah, the GoPro with me. I've kind of the 4 days kind of on my Instagram. They're there if you kind of search through my feed. But
We'll put this up in our stories so people can see. Obviously.
Yeah. No, that's pretty good, and I do a little report on each one on each day. So it kind of gives an idea of.
And your Instagram is Ginger Power.
Ginger Power.
Ginger Power.
With a 0 instead of an O.
Yeah.
Ooh,
edgy.
like 007.
Because Ginger Power was actually taken already. There was probably a lad from Trim called Ginger Power.
But yeah, so I got to the 160k mark, probably going a bit hotter than I should have. Felt a bit tired, more tired than I planned to be. Resupplied, hung around a little bit longer than I expected, but which was good because I let the fast guys go.
Yeah.
And I wasn't pacing myself off them, which I
What are you
was
talking about,
doing.
like 30, 40 minutes, that type of dealio?
Yeah, I just kind of took my time.
Yeah.
I think
And,
it was good.
When
Yeah,
you're-
it was good.
when you're
half an
cycling,
hour
because
more.
some of it looks like a nice place. Like, were you taking in where you were, or was it just about the cycling?
Yeah, so that's day one. I wasn't probably as much as I should have been, and I started getting really weird. It started getting really weird mentally. So the first day, obviously, I was powering on, and I was kind of got to the feed zone or got to the petrol station. I was like, oh right, what am I doing here? Like, am I kind of like, am I taking this in? Am I, or am I racing? Or
What's the purpose of it?
What's
Yeah.
the purpose of it? And I kind of started questioning myself, and it was really weird. So then I kind of resupplied. Kind of didn't feel great after I got a bit of food into me. I expected to feel better. And then it kind of hit me then. I was like, oh man, I like that whole first section is just a blur, which it was. Like, it was nuts. And I was like, I'm not really enjoying this. And I was like, I've been planning this for years. Years. And I've been building up. And it was spent the whole year last year planning for
And you
this.
probably
and
never
getting into
cycle
it.
that way again, or whatever.
No,
like,
never again. Never. This is a one-time bucket list thing, right? So I was like, I didn't take it in. So I rang my wife.
And
I
going
was-
back to the start.
yeah. Well, yeah, but I rang her and I was like, I don't know if I'm able for this. Like, I'm like, it's not. I feel like obviously I'm kind of married and have a kid and everything, and I'm there's a big commitment there to be away from them for that amount of time. So I'm like, what's the point if I'm not taking it in?
Yeah.
And I kind of rang her and I was like, yeah, look, I'm ending up that I'm kind of racing and I'm not enjoying it. And she was like, look, just stick at it. You'll be grand. Like, you will get through it. You'll be fine. And I was kind of going, I don't know, is it worth it? And, and then there was all this. This was day one, like.